Welcome to Worthy Ones, the video series where I take all the newest issue 1 comic books that were released for the comic book week that I read and deem them worthy or not worthy. Guys, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. I'm Mike Spider Slayer. If you love daily comic book content, if you love me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, guys, consider hitting that subscribe button. So before we dive into it this week, guys, I gotta give a quick shout out to a new Kickstarter that's about to launch very soon, and this is from award winner Frank Zanka. This is called Lords of LA. This is issue 2. It's a vampire, the mob in 1950s Hollywood. That's right, guys. If you love that time frame, if you love horror comics, this could be the comic book for you. Lena returns after 60 years to take revenge on the vampire mob bosses that turned her and forced her to leave her newborn son. So if you're interested, make sure you go on to Kickstarter. Save the project today so you will be notified when the project actually launches. Thank you so much. So guys, you're in for a special treat this week because on Worthy Ones, not only are we doing the regular episode, but there will be a bonus episode. That's right, on Friday, you will be seeing part 2 of this video because there were 10 issue 1s that were released that I bought this week. So you're going to get 5 today on Thursday and 5 on Friday. And believe it or not, I only have 3 comic books left to read because that's how many new number 1s came out this particular week. So hopefully these 2 parts will definitely help you make decisions on what issue 1s to buy, right? Okay, so let's get started. The first book we're going to talk about is Unnatural Order. This is issue 1. This one is written by Christopher Yost. This is the creator of X-23. Now, this book was nowhere on my radar. I was not going to buy this book. The description didn't sound interesting at all. But Vault was giving away this comic book for free. So hopefully you were able to get this one for free at your comic book shops. And this one is regularly a $5 comic book. So you got a deal here. Now, the artwork in this book is actually, it's pretty cool. I thought that the characters looked nice inside, right? There were some great battle scenes, action scenes in this book. Kind of reminds you of like a Conan the Barbarian. That's the vibe that I got from it. There were some very dark and creepy times that's going on in this comic book. So the artwork here could appeal for a lot of readers. And what this book is about the fall of the Britons and a Roman invasion of Hibernia, if I say that correctly. And then there was this druid that was released, and it's releasing all its dark magic and all this kinds of crazy stuff. And then what happens is our soldiers come across another soldier from a different time. So that's kind of like the twist that you get at the end of this comic book, okay? I'm going to deem this book unworthy or not worthy, for me anyway. I thought it was okay, but it still doesn't get me to the point enough to where I want to spend $5 every month on purchasing this comic book. There was a reason why when I read the description of this book, I wasn't going to read it to begin with, right? But I'm going to try anything for free. It just doesn't, I don't know, I just can't get connected to it. I wasn't into the story. And I think the biggest thing is this is more of kind of like the world that it takes place in. I couldn't get into the characters. There was nothing there for me to get attached to. So at the end of the day, for me anyway, I'm going to give this book a C. I think this was a solid attempt at making a great comic, and I can't fault them for giving this book away because this could definitely attract readers. This is mainly just a book that's not for me. Ultimate Universe issue 1, written by Jonathan Hickman and Stefano Caselli. Now, I had my reservations going into this comic book because this miniseries leading into this book just wasn't all that great. It seemed just very boring, a lot of standing around. But this is the book that kind of really propels the universe forward and sets things up, right? And in my eyes, this book really didn't disappoint. Stefano Caselli's artwork is actually really good in this comic. We get to see Dr. Doom in here, which is Reed Richards. We wind up getting to see Thor, which is a great character in this comic. He's not this happy-go-lucky type of character. He's a takes no bullshit type of person, and he just looks badass. He's overpowered. He just looks humongous, and he's just somebody that you don't want to mess with in this comic. Shit, even Lady Sif looks really good in this book as well. And what this book accomplishes is without really spoiling all that much, is that it sets the universe going forward. We get to see Thor, Iron Lad, Doctor Doom go on this mission. One of the things is they got to try to figure out how to get Captain America out of the ice, which I thought was kind of cool, and to get into the Maker's capital city or whatnot. And we find out that they all know or are aware of what the Maker has done. Like, they're aware that he changed everything that was supposed to happen and eliminate all heroes and things of that nature. So their goal here is to infiltrate the base, try to get people's, like, I don't know, like files and stuff like that, and make things right. This book was worthy. Definitely, if you were on the fence about this whole Ultimate Universe and where it's going to go, give this issue a shot, and then go into January of 2024. Check out the new Spider-Man book and maybe some of the other titles going forward. I'm going to give this one an A. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great page turner. The story was phenomenal here. I just love seeing the inner workings of, Jonathan Hickman's story taking place after those other few issues. So really, really great stuff here, guys. Again, if you were on the fence, pick this one up. White Widow issue 1, done by Sarah Ganley, and the art is done by Alessandro Marcello. Now, the artwork in this book is actually pretty good. I do like the colors. It's bright and vibrant. The action scenes, when you see them in here, actually look pretty good. So, from an action standpoint and just, things like this, it looks really nice in the comic book. However, this was not the comic book that I was expecting. If you are expecting a dark espionage type of story, you're not going to get that here. So I'm going to make this really clear. For me, this book was not worthy. I will not be picking up the second issue. I'm happy to get those gorgeous variant covers. But what this book is about really fleshing out, or trying to flesh out, Yelena Belova as a separate character from Black Widow and have her do her own thing. She actually moves out of town. She gets to live in like this townhouse or this apartment complex, and you get to see like all the different types of people that she's living with and interacting with and doing missions with. And in fact, what this book tries to be almost is like a Hawkeye book with Kate Bishop. In fact, she even has her own dog by the name of Bint Clarton, who obviously, if you reverse the name, it's Clint Barton, there's Bint Clarton. Like, I don't know, I found that kind of stupid. And then you actually get her making all these lists, which, again, I give credit to try to go outside of the box, where she's making these notes about, I like this and I dislike that and I'm neutral in that, and she writes down all these things. And as she's going through the comic book, you get to see the little graph that she wrote, and she's like neutral and dislike and stuff like that. But I don't know, I didn't like it. I just didn't like the comic book. I didn't like the supporting cast. Again, just like in an earlier issue that I discussed, if I can't get attached to characters, I'm not going to like the book. And I didn't like any of the characters here, including Yelena Belova. I just felt like it was almost a freaking Hawkeye knockoff. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be picking this up. If I'm going to grade this one, I'm going to give this one a D+. Decent artwork, which was good. I like them trying to think outside of the box, but when I think of Yelena Belova, I think of something a little bit more darker, and this one just did not work for me. Almost Dead issue 1. Okay, so this book is written by, it says Galaxy, and then the artwork is done by Ryan Benjamin. So I don't even know if this is written by a real person or it's translated by a real person, because I think Blaze Comics has comics that are actually, like, I don't know if they're done from a different country and then they're translated. But Life Zero was a really good story, okay? And I picked this one up thinking, okay, maybe we'll get another story like this one. And I'm a sucker for apocalypse books or zombie books, even though we've read them 1,000 times before. If it's written good, it might be a decent series, right? And when you look at the artwork in this book, it actually is drawn really nice. I thought that the characters look good. There's a couple of zombie moments in this issue that looked really nice as well. And so the art did definitely present itself. There is a little bit of a story here with the main character by the name of Sarah Walker and some kind of history with her, but we don't quite know, okay? So when it comes to good, though, that's about it when it comes to this comic book. It is just horrifically bad writing, okay? So we get this character by the name of Sarah Walker, and she is freaking stupid as hell. First thing is she gets off a plane. She's going to visit her Uncle Owen. And everything seems normal at first, which is fine. And from a distance, all of a sudden, we see her come across this, like, zombie. And he's just, like, scratching walls. And I can get it. It's one thing. And you don't think anything of it. But then she goes to the restroom. And an accident happens, right? While she's in the restroom, we get to see people pointing at this zombie. It's causing a scene. She's in the restroom, and then she has this horrible fall. And she wakes up like 3 days later. And when she wakes up, what happens is the whole airport basically is overrun by zombies. It's just a mess. It's destroyed. You can clearly see that there's something physically wrong here. And she is too darn stupid to figure it out. She's like, why is everyone gone? Why is there a mess? And she's like, my head hurts. And she must say that her head hurts like 30 times in this comic book in 20 pages. And it's ridiculously dumb how stupid the character is written here. It's just like whoever or whatever translated or wrote this comic book just did not know what to say in the pages of this comic besides her head hurts and she doesn't know what's going on. And she's like, why are all these cars out of fuel? It's so funny, dude, how dumb she is. And supposedly she has such a bad concussion, she just can't make out what's real and what's reality. And even when she gets back to her Uncle Owen's house, she's so dizzy and so concussed that she still attempts to freaking climb a second story because she can't figure out why her Uncle Owen is not home. It's just a complete mess, dude. This book is not worthy. It is so badly written. It's like a first grader can write a comic book better than this, the way it was written. It's just like so bad that you want to see where it goes to see if it can actually get worse. So if I had to grade this comic book, it's going to be an F+, because the artwork was actually pretty decent in this comic book. And I actually might pick up the next issue again just to see how much of a train wreck this book could be. But the main character is stupid. The stupidest main character I've ever seen in a comic book in my life. But yeah, if you want to save money, save money. But if you want to laugh and see where this train wreck goes, pick this one up. SpiderBoy issue 1. Here we go. After months of anticipation and the introduction of Bailey Briggs, we finally have it. We got Dan Slott on the writing, Paco Mandina who does the artwork, and I'm sorry if I said it was Mark Bagley in my comic book haul. For some reason, I thought he was doing the arts in this one, but Paco Mandina is a great artist. I remember him doing Sam Alexander Nova, that series in Marvel Now, and he did great artwork in there, and it's the same here. The characters are very dynamic looking. I love their facial expressions here. He just does a really great job at bringing these characters to life, and it just awesome artwork, dude. And the characters are funny and hysterical, and I really enjoyed the way this one looked. So this book does have some first appearances in here as well, so you might want to keep your copies here, guy, because this has the first appearance of Gutterball, who is a character that's like, who has a bowling ball as a head. I just thought that was hilarious. And in the beginning of this book, they make all these bowling puns. It's just hysterical. Another person by the name of Lucky Lane. Hell if I know, who is a character that is a rhino and an elephant, and his name is that. And it's really funny, dude. It's just got some good stuff in here. But what this comic is about is obviously Spider-Man and Spider-Boy are saving the day at a bowling alley. And based off of what happened in the Edge of Spider-Verse comic book, Spider-Boy is kind of meant to be like a monster because they saw him as a monster in those pages. And so just like Spider-Man comics, just when Spider-Man hit the scene, he was seen as a menace. So Spider-Man went out of his way to the Daily Bugle and went to Robbie and said, let's do something nice for him because he did save the day. So what they do is they try to put something in his honor by, giving him unlimited passes to the bowling alley and having a party and things like that. Well, when that event actually happens, all hell breaks loose. And Spider-Boy has to fight his arch nemesis, Hell if I know, which is, again, a combination of a rhino and an elephant that used to be his best friend when he was being kind of experimented on with a high evolutionary reject. And she is a female, I don't know, I think her name is called Madam M. And she is this character right here who does experiments on humans and makes them animals. That's what she calls them. This book was actually worthy. If you thought this was going to be a cheesy or bad written book, guys, this is really well written. It's got a lot of humor in there. It's got a lot of new fresh faces and characters. There's really some good dynamics between Bailey Briggs and Eli, which is his best friend when they were back in the cages being experimented on. And it's just a fun read. And this is an all ages type of book that I think everyone that can get into. You can read this with your daughter or your son and whatnot and get them into the Spider-Man family. So I'm going to give this book a solid A. This hit all the right notes and beats for me. So I definitely suggest that you guys pick this one up. So there you have it, webheads. There is part 1 of 2 parts of Worthy Ones this week. On Friday, I'm going to have another 5 books that I'm going to discuss. Will they be worthy or won't they be worthy? Find out then, but until then, you can see all the comic books I picked up for the current comic book week. And as always, guys, support those local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always remember to read your comics. Guys, I'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye.